So Hugo Brooks is one of our enthusiastic entrepreneurial clients who does his workshops in London. Recently, he talked about the loneliness of being an entrepreneur and how he feels so supported and he feels so much more confident as an individual entrepreneur when he comes back to his Strategic Coach workshop and he's surrounded by his Strategic Coach community. It's a marvelous thing when we get confirmation back from all the different centers where we do Strategic Coach, but this is a constant theme that Hugo is talking about. One of the great values of Strategic Coach is just who's in the workshop room with you every 90 days. When your life gets simpler, your life gets clearer, and there's a boost of support that comes from all the other entrepreneurs who you talk with and who are in the room with you.
So I am Hugo Brooks. I've been a Strategic Coach for a year and just a little bit, just starting on my second year. And I run a brand development and consumer research company. I think before I came into Strategic Coach, I think I knew quite a lot of the stuff that I've heard this year, but the effect of knowing something but not really being able to implement it is not a great feeling. So you kind of get up every day deciding, well, this is what I should be doing, and then you don't do it. And that is actually has quite a sort of downward negative effect on your confidence. It's quite destructive to your self-confidence. Whereas I think coming into Strategic Coach, hearing it articulated more clearly, being given the tools that I need to be able to implement some of those ideas, as well as hearing a lot of new ideas, has kind of turned the downward spiral into an upward spiral. So it's not that I am now doing everything perfectly after a year in Strategic Coach, but I feel reassured that what I'm doing is probably right, that other people have done it ahead of me. I've got some tools to do it, and bit by bit you kind of begin to build some confidence in what you're doing. And I think over the course of a year and a bit, my approach and attitude has therefore kind of completely changed. Getting the confidence and clarity has given me, in a sense, the courage and conviction to do what I need to do. So a lot of this has been about learning how to delegate, learning how to make boundaries, learning how to help people that work with me understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and then having the confidence to do it. And I think having Strategic Coach there, I actually had Strategic Coach come in and run a program with all of my employees as well, has just helped everybody understand. So being an entrepreneur, being the head of a business is a lonely place to be, but I think being with a load of other people who are in the same place helps that enormously. But then it also means you've got what you need to be able to bring your team with you in that process, rather than, just kind of battling against something that feels resistant. So however successful you are, and I guess I can really only speak from my own experience, but if the only person that I really listen to is myself, then the feedback I get is permanently positive. And in order to really grow and do something, to make my future different to my past, I need to get outside guidance and advice and stimulation. Otherwise, I just hear these great ideas that come up in my head. My head tells me that they're fantastic ideas, and it just goes round and we don't actually move anywhere. So however successful you are or not, or wherever you are on that spectrum or feel you are on that spectrum, the benefit of having something outside of yourself, a group of people, a set of tools, a series of strategies, all of which you can use as you wish, that are able to give you that broader perspective, is truly transformative. It will move you from recreating your present over and over again to a place where potentially you can create a new future. And I'd like to still think that, most of my success, of course, is entirely down to me, but what I notice is that my success seems to be considerably greater since I have the support of Strategic Coach behind me. It's really energizing, and I think I, probably like a lot of entrepreneurs, have a very strong desire to achieve growth. That's always been there. That's not something that Strategic Coach has given me. I come with that, that's already installed. But what Strategic Coach has given me is the opportunity to make use of that and turn that into something. So what could be quite a frustration has now become an excitement. And I can now really see that, I can grow this business in all sorts of different ways. And I think the best way of summarizing is I've gone from how do I grow this business to which are the ways I want to grow this business. That's a change of mindset. It's all about growth, but it's a big change of mindset. The first thing about a workshop is that you come into a room with a group of 30 other people who are all trying to do the same thing as you. My greatest fear before I started Strategic Coach was that it would be a lot of very competitive people trying to show off in front of each other. And that has so not proved to be the case. An environment is created in which there's a sort of level of equality, common goal. We're all trying to achieve the same thing. Doesn't matter where you are. The very fact that you've turned up here means that you're willing to participate in something that might help. So just being in a room full of people who all have the same objective in mind, but come from all sorts of different backgrounds, of different places in their, on their journey, is incredibly rewarding. It's very stimulating, but it's also very, very supportive. I don't get that anywhere else in my life. I've run businesses for many years, and you so don't get that as the person leading a business. That creates an extraordinary start point. And then I think you've got two things that are amazing. One is that the program, the set of tools, if you like, that you have, that Strategic Coach have, is incredibly complex, comprehensive. So it covers just about everything that happens. You see people in the workshop go, yeah, but what about, and then somebody goes, well, here it is on page 3, So there's a lot of that goes on. So it's very, very comprehensive. It's very real. So, I've looked at training programs and other things before that tend to be rather academic and theoretical, whereas the whole Strategic Coach program feels real and relevant to what I'm doing today. I'm not going and learning a piece of theory that I've then got to work out how to interpret. I actually walk away knowing how to interpret it tomorrow. And I think that's amazingly powerful. And then the facilitator, coach, whatever you want to call the guy at the front, is an entrepreneur like me. So he's not a teacher. He has great teaching skills and he's entertaining and all the things that you want from a great facilitator. But I know that he's one of us. He's not one of them. And I think that gives him a huge amount of authority in being able to talk about this. And a lot of what he will talk about is drawn from his experience, layered on top of the tools and program that are so well constructed.
I really love the imagery that Hugo got, being on his own and feeling that he was caught in a downward spiral where he was losing his confidence and then it dramatically shifting, not only as a result of the tools that he was learning in Strategic Coach, which he can use, of course, and we encourage that these become daily thinking habits. But the big thing was the spiral that he felt that every quarter he would get another upward boost by simply being a member of his workshop community where he could contribute to other people, and then he received massive input from the other entrepreneurs who were in the room with him. We have a very powerful small book that actually explains this whole concept of having an entrepreneurial community, and also that you could talk to other entrepreneurs in your workshop about how they're creating an extraordinary company as you are also exploring, and that we call this a self-managing company. This is available as an ebook download simply by going to selfmanagingcompany.coach.